Our 20 for 20 episode series continues. Alex and Anthony talk stuff. Tonight we're going to be taking a look at Conor McGregor's impact on the UFC. His big fight coming up this weekend. I guess looking back in hindsight as we do for this series, the thing we're going to be taking a peek at and the question that we're raising is, with the position that the UFC is in now, would they still be viable as a company throughout the past years and currently now, had it not been for Conor McGregor? I know, Alex, you love Conor and feel a certain type of way, so I'm gonna let you lead this one off.
I do like Conor.
I like him a lot.
No, I like him. I mean,
the documentary was sweet.
Yeah, the documentary was sweet. I just wanted to kind of take a look at McGregor in his rise, also kind of in conjunction with the UFC being sold. And I just don't think that kind of happens without him. And
they've
I know,
lost a lot of star power, like not conveniently, but I guess like alongside, like paralleled with his rise and success has been the falling off of a lot of their like big ticket people in both the women's and male division and different weights.
And totally, like, in conjunction with Conor, like, Ronda was there, like, during that really time frame leading up to that deal. And, before that, they had star power when you had, like, Brock and GSP and John Jones. It's just, like, with those guys, like, even starting with Ronda, right? She basically created the women's division as it is.
100%.
She created hype and actually interest in that division enough that they could have two different weight classes, and so that there would even be women in the UFC, which Dana White said would never happen. But it only took that one fight and that crazy like kick to the face, and then you just completely all that kind of money dried up, really.
Yeah, the air went out of the balloon in a hurry.
Because the thing with Ronda is that most people don't see is like she was like towards the end of her like fighting / like that kind of professional career. I mean, she had done judo for so many years, been to the Olympics, won the bronze. I mean, then got into fighting after it. It's like she's still relatively young, but as far as like the fighting like cycle or whatever, she was towards the end of it. And the main problem with the Ronda thing is when you're coming in first, and I think everyone has always thrown kind of shade at her camp and her like trainer and coach, who like, because everyone was trying to basically say, hey, get with like a real gym kind of thing, because she always trains like separately and everything like that. But it was just kind of inevitable that because she was like a pioneer, that now other women behind her would kind of like grow in the sport and get like more training and like have more opportunities. And it was only kind of like a matter of time, because she was doing like certain things. She was doing like the judo throws and the arm bars, right? And I was like, okay, I just have to combat, the judo and the arm bars. It's like she wasn't even like a really complete fighter. Like she didn't have like amazing and not
to come to her defense, but she didn't really have to be. Like she dominated an entire division with like one friggin' move.
Once she was on the ground, she just completely dominated.
Yeah, you were done. So
it's not really a big deal.
Else.
But anywho, so that
she falls off.
She falls off. Doesn't know if she wants to come back. Talks about like retiring, stuff like that. When you're talking about retiring and stuff like that, you're already kind of done.
Yeah. So
then she gets convinced to come back for like one more fight. Now Holly Holm has already lost. Now Nunez, who is a beast.
Yeah.
So it's like, oh, hey, come back for one more money fight. Okay. There's definitely hype around that. Oh, Ronda's coming back, blah, blah, blah. And then it didn't go so well. And now Ronda's completely out of the sport. And that's kind of like lost. And the women's division isn't the same anymore.
Right.
That's like a Tiger Woods-ish, like, golf's not the same when he's not running hot kind of thing. So,
yeah, without a doubt.
So that dries up. Then you have your main moneymaker before all this was Brock. And he was, even though he had the little, back and forth with Frank Mir, and then eventually came to Kane, and then Kane was like a superior, like all around kind of guy.
I know you meant Cain Velasquez, but I immediately thought Cain from WWE,
Oh, yeah,
and
sorry.
I was like, oh, when did they fight? And then I was like, oh, wait.
I mean, they probably fought a number of times. So then, and now Brock wants to do this like flip flop, like I just want who's paying me the most to show up kind of thing. And I think he generally like does like UFC better because he feels like it's real sport.
Well, yeah,
and,
it's not scripted.
Yeah, and like wants to do it, but like the paychecks for showing up for like 3 days every 6 months aren't that's a pretty good gig to have on the other end. So it's like I want to do both. Well, okay, that's rather hard because you have to be in USADA, the drug testing for like if you're gonna jump out and then try to jump back in, you have to be in the drug testing for like a year leading up to the fight, which they were able to like circumvent for this last go around, and you saw what happened. So he comes back, everyone's crazy hyped because it's 200, and then you get that little video snippet that Brock's coming back. Everyone's like, whoa, oh my god. And then it's like, okay, he's facing Mark Hunt. Mark Hunt's decent. He's like a gatekeeper kind of in the heavyweight division. He's kind of always been there. He's like, okay. Brock comes in. It's like an okay, I mean, whatever. It's a co-main event. It's okay. It goes, he wins. So you're like, okay, maybe this will start some sort of, train here and we'll keep going towards like some super fights. And then immediately afterwards gets popped. Now he's out, but he doesn't care that he's out. Just runs back to WWE, so it doesn't really matter to him so much,
right?
That he would like get suspended. And so now that money's not there. Now that money's going to come back, but it's just like he's a part-timer, just like he is in WWE. He's not
riding that part-time.
Yeah, exactly. So
you lose. So Ronda's down. Boom. You lose another star that you could hitch your wagon to in Brock.
Exactly. And then you're kind of like, say, an older star, GSP, which did crazy business for them and really like brought in a whole another country in Canada
100%.
Into the fold. And they had huge events in like Quebec and Toronto, and like they were able to like do very well during that time period with GSP. And now he goes away because he feels like, I think it's getting tougher to win. That Johnny Hendricks fight, that was like his last fight. In my opinion, he lost that fight. If you go back and look at that, this was before Johnny Hendricks just totally fell off the side of a cliff.
Yeah.
But back when he was good and had real good skills, I believe Johnny Hendricks beat GSP. It's just GSP got that decision. And then he knew like it was catching up to him, like in a Ronda kind of thing.
Right.
And he was like, I'm out. It's getting a little hard. And then he kind of took the route that like the drug testing wasn't hard enough. He knows there's cheaters in the game.
And then he joins Hydra and is on that ship. Captain America kicks the shit out of him, and we don't know where he is now.
I guess that's true. Yeah. I guess he thought he had like a budding like movie career as well. So I don't know. So he leaves, right? And then he comes back. They convince him to come back for one go because it's like MSG, but it's completely like Bisping's champion. He's beat Bisping before. He knows he can beat him. It's not in his weight class. He's going to come back once, never defend the belt, even if he does win. It's just a complete like kind of sham one-off. Like everyone knows this, but it's like, and then he's gone again. So it's like, what good does that get you to do the one kind of quick hitter? I don't understand. Like you're just doing it based on like name value, similar to like what WWF does when they bring back The Rock for like the WrestleMania season, and then it's gone. It's like they brought back Goldberg, whatever, right? For a little longer run, right? It was like Survivor Series,
right? Just to kind of give you like a little bridge of like, we don't know what to do right now. We need somebody to like bring money in. Let's do this guy.
Exactly. It's like, it's a round number. It's 100. It's 200. We got to do something. It's like, it's just like they're not like building. It's not like that's the problem in UFC as opposed to like WWE. You can't build the stars because you don't know the outcome.
Yeah, you can't script that shit. You have to hope somebody rises organically.
So it is what it is. And then the only other person you could say brought in business is John Jones, right? You could say DC brings in some business, but really not a lot. And his problem is he can't beat John Jones. And he always has that stigma.
And John Jones's problem is he can't beat those drug tests.
I mean, it's hard, man. It's hard when you like ditch your car and leave a briefcase full of like money in your car.
It's hard to beat the drug test when you've got drugs in your system.
I mean, I actually think like John Jones is the best MMA fighter. Like I know I know that
Well,
people
he's got so much
he's a cheater, blah, blah, blah.
but he's got so
yada,
much natural
yada.
ability. He's got technique. He's got that reach. He's got heavy hands.
To be honest, I
He's
don't
got
know who
quickness,
people would say nowadays is the best fighter because everyone before was like, oh, Anderson Silva, Anderson Silva. Then he got popped later in his career. So everyone's like, oh, was he doing this the whole time? Blah, blah, blah. So it's like on some like weird baseball thing. So it's like, okay, who's your cleanest guy that you think is kind of the best? Because really the best, if we're just looking at pure skills, probably Anderson Silva or John Jones.
Yeah, but then much to your point, you're so at least one person's going to be like, nope, can't count them because they cheated, blah blah blah. And I guess I would probably be in that camp, like especially if we're going to make the baseball comparison. When anytime someone's like, oh, he's only second to Barry Bonds, I'm like, oh, that means he's first because Barry Bonds cheated and doesn't count.
I'm fine with it. I'm fine if we want the Barry Bonds thing. He was legit Hall of Famer before any of that for when he was skinny.
Correct,
so,
but his numbers don't count for home runs to me, like half of them or 3/4, because they're all tainted because he cheated.
You know when baseball was more popular? When people were doing drugs. So they need to revisit that.
I mean, I just think it's also ridiculous, too, that Barry Bonds can get his name put in everything and gets accounted for stuff, but Pete Rose can't get into the Hall of Fame because he bet on his team to win. But that's another story for another time. But yeah, so people are going to throw Silva and Jones. Some people are going to throw Silva and Jones into that camp with Bonds and McGuire and all those dudes and be like, nope, doesn't count.
Yeah. No, but I'm just saying. And so now, because of all these things, he's going through. He's going through suspensions. I mean, he's still there. He's still actually young. He's only 30 right now.
The way you look at it, it looks like McGregor planned all this. Like everyone's downfall came along with his rise.
It's like crazy. It's crazy. It's like it's like a bucking bronco or something. It's just everyone's just falling to the wayside. Yep. And
here comes then this guy with talent.
Then they have this big deal, right? The Fertitas, sell. Mm-hmm. And everything's like, whoa, like, it's crazy amount of money. And everyone's like, whoa, now the production's going to be crazy. Everything's going to like be that much better. And I just don't think it really like has. And combined with that, then you have this guy. You have Conor McGregor who just continued to like just talk and backed
it up.
And I truly think is like the best promo in any sort of fighting, either combat sports or it could be WWE, anything, not all time, but just like as of right now.
Him and Samoa Joe could have a promo off for an hour and a half and I would be so happy.
Like he's the guy, man. And he knows it. That's the thing. It's like, oh, you fight me? It's like, it's a red panty night for you because, you're going to get paid because his promo level is just like on another level. And that's really the big like thing that draws in people, gets the attention and stuff like that. And then not only that, but when he gets in there, I think it is like a lot of mental, like bringing in Tiger Woods again, I guess. It's like back when like Tiger was running so hot, it's like they already were beat before they like stepped in there. And
especially with fighting, like where it's golf is so mental with the technique aspect of it, and you have to be so focused and on point, let alone with fighting, where you still have to be focused and on point on your own technique, but also with the fact that you're locked in a fence with a dude who's trying to murder you.
Yeah, and that's what happened with Aldo, because it ended up being so long because Aldo got hurt and pulled out, and then again, and so it was all this mental warfare.
Aldo changes his strategy, tries to rush out, boom.
Well, yeah, he tries to rush out, but also just like he was kind of like the most non-emotional kind of guy.
Yeah, McGregor got
But then McGregor just got to him after a while. And that's what he does. Like, I don't know, that's what he does. I don't think he's going to be able, trying to flash forward to now, I don't think he's going to be able to get in Khabib's head necessarily. But, like, he's definitely got, like, ammo and stuff like that if we could bring it to, like, now times. That press conference he just did in Radio City was, like, some of the things he was saying, like mental warfare wise, are just like amazing. Like to his manager, I don't know his manager's name. I know his first name is like Ali, but just like crazy stuff. Like he brought up that he was like a terrorist snitch because he's like he was an Egyptian that like was working with the FBI to some like intel on like some Muslims, like a Muslim group. And like he knew that, and then he said right after he called him a terrorist snitch, he said he said, "How's Noah doing?" And like,
Jesus.
and that's actually like a kid he had with like a woman that,
Yep.
and he owes like thousands and thousands of like dollars to this kid and back child support and stuff. So it's like
Right. That he's
no,
going for the throat.
dude, he knows. He like
He knows everything.
he like researches and he gets to people.
He's
Like
just
after a
sitting
while.
up, like other dudes are training in the gym. McGregor's just on the internet, like scrolling, like trying to find any little detail.
I mean,
about
he
his
knows what
opponent.
he's doing, and he comes in hot, and he's always got one-liners, and he's funny, and it's just like, and then he gets in there, and he's awkward enough fighting wise. He's got good hands. Like he doesn't have great stamina. Granted, I'm pretty sure he knows that though. He cannot go. He's like Mike Tyson. Like if you get out of the second, third round, you have to feel pretty good about yourself then, because
Yeah, you can get him in the long game.
you could take him down a bunch. Yeah, the long game wise, you can really do things to him like later on. The problem is you got to weather the first round and the second round when he's going to be throwing that huge left at you, and he's really good just at angles and different things like that.
So
He
the
fights-
type,
fights pretty awesome.
the type of fighter that he is, the promo work that he does,
Yeah,
everything
yeah.
kind of allows him to rise
right,
up in the time where these people are all
Sure,
falling off
everything-
the horse.
Yeah, and everything just came together, right? Like and they brought him along like sort of slowly, but then he fought he had a couple like not bigger fights, whatever. He came in and then he fought Dustin Poirier in a fight that he won. He fought Max Holloway in a fight he won, which now Max is a lot better. And then I think his first like bigger thing to me was against Dennis Seaver, who was like 10 in the division at the time or something like that. And he beat him kind of handily and knocked him out. And then he was on track for the Aldo thing, only because he was talking basically. Like he just talked himself into like championship levels of like matches. Like it wasn't because he was like ranked second or he was like number one contender. It's just like, oh, we're gonna make money if we just put him in there because he talks so much,
Right.
you know. So now he's on like the fast track. Aldo pulls out whatever. He has the Mendez thing. Everyone's like, well, he can't beat a wrestler, blah blah blah. He ends up beating a wrestler. So it's just like it continues to grow. Then he knocks out Aldo and like something that'll be on highlight reels like forever.
So with his rise, with
And
his
it's just
success,
now they're at the tippy top. But my problem
are
is
they there without him?
he's beyond. Is UFC where it is right now without McGregor?
Right? No.
No.
Were you about to say that he's outgrown? Like, is at this point
me,
McGregor bigger than the UFC?
To me, he is.
So then they definitely can't be there without him because he's.
To me, is because he's now gone out, right? He got the Floyd fight. It wasn't like,
Yeah,
I mean, he started that, like, and then Floyd obviously saw the money in it because Floyd is a great businessman. Like, I mean, you saw the deal. It's basically an exhibition. This was goddamn.
Yeah,
like,
McGregor knew he wasn't winning.
No, this was when like Apollo Creed went on that tour before Drago got him.
Ooh,
It was just like all for money.
Drago definitely got him.
Yeah, no shit. So it was definitely just like, you know, like a money grab. Everyone knew that, but they were like, everyone's kind of interested though. They're like, I wonder how good McGregor's gonna do.
So then, what do they do if he loses?
Now he has so much insane money because the most money he had gotten in UFC was like $3 million at that point, right. And that was the most anybody had made in a fight. And then he just goes out, gets himself $100 million payday, and is like, "Well, I don't need to do shit now." He really doesn't. Like, I don't need to shit now. So
where does UFC go if he loses to Khabib? Do you? Well, first thing like that, I would kind of want to get into. Does he, if McGregor wins, like that obviously helps them. If he doesn't and he loses to Khabib, is that like does UFC start to fall a little bit because Brock is the next dude after McGregor, but we don't know what the hell's going to happen with Brock. He's back and forth every day. We don't even know if he's going to win. Like, do they stay viable if McGregor loses to Khabib?
If they okay, here's my thing, like, just going out forward. They have the one Brock match, they think, against John Jones, who is now going to get reinstated. So as long as everything stays in track, they have one big match with that.
Brock is fighting John Jones?
I mean, that's what everyone, assumes going to happen. Now, there may be a fight in between there. Like, they both might have fights before that happens. But that's what's like the aim. That's what the goal is.
So
John
then doesn't
Jones Brock
McGregor
as a
have
super
to?
fight.
If we build it off of everything that we've just gone into and what you've detailed with the other people who have fallen off and how they've stayed viable because of McGregor's charisma and ability in the octagon. Like, do they have to fall off if McGregor loses? Because you can't, can they really put all their cards into the John Jones or Brock Lesnar, like, part of the table? Like, that's already proven to be unreliable.
Yeah, because the only other thing you have is you have Cormier, right, who's now a double champ. I thought Stipe was like a good champion for them because they hadn't had any stability in the heavyweight division for a while, and Stipe has like charisma and stuff. So I thought he was a good champion. Now Cormier goes up, beats him. Now he's a double champion, but Cormier is like 40. He has one match left.
Yeah, he doesn't got it.
He knows he only wants like one or two more like matches, and that's it. So what is that really getting you? That's like giving Ric Flair or Hulk Hogan like a championship like now or something. It's like completely pointless.
Yeah, you're just doing it just to do it.
Yeah, it's like completely kind of like pointless to even give him the match. Whatever, you're just trying to sell tickets because they had nothing because they didn't know what McGregor was doing. Because he was just sitting
McGregor.
out.
They need McGregor
absolutely.
to win this fight.
See, the thing about the Nate Diaz fight is that is the weight classes.
Yeah, he moved up like 36 weight classes to fight Diaz.
Yeah. So he moved up 2 weight classes to fight Diaz. So already he has the inherent excuse that he moved up in weight to fight Diaz. So even if he loses, which he did,
he's got that excuse.
He's got that excuse. So they said, okay, come down 1 more weight class, and then I'll beat you at that weight class instead of going up 2. He basically trains he doesn't train for stamina. He comes in, but with a different strategy. He goes a lot slower through all the rounds instead of petering out, because that was the first match where he couldn't just tire a guy out, because Nate Diaz is like a Rocky Balboa. Like, you can kind of beat him up real bad, but he's never really going to get knocked out. Like he'll just keep taking punishment.
I love that Diaz is Balboa.
He is, though, because like his eyes get all swollen, and it's like,
yeah, if you breathe on his face too hard, it swells up like he ate shellfish.
It's just like, it's like, oh, okay, he looks pretty like rocked, but he's really never gonna go down. Yeah, he's really never gonna stop. He's just gonna keep coming, and it's like, oh shit. So Conor knew that the second time around, played a lot slower kind of a game, and beat him by decision. Okay, 1 for 1. They're bound to have their third match at some point, even if Conor loses. So at least they have that in their back pocket.
But that can't be
Khabib is not going to be a star.
Exactly.
Because
if we're going Conor, a week from now and Conor is lost, where are they standing? Like they're banking on like, all right, you know what?
It's bad because
they have to bank on McGregor Diaz 3 then.
No, well, you already had this because you had Aldo as like an undefeated champion, right? And it was like Conor's coming in really brash and going to take him off his pedestal, right? And Aldo really at one point was thought to be like, could have been the best fighter like ever, because he was already pound for pound best because he'd never been beaten. Right. But the problem was he's Brazilian, can't really speak English, and that's not going to get over for this like company. Like, no. At least Conor speaks English. The problem with Khabib is he's like, I don't necessarily know where he's from. I just know it's like, I don't know, whatever. I just know he's like, English is not his first language kind of thing. And I know he's undefeated, but it's not going to be, he's just not going to get, I don't think he's just not going to get over, in the same manner.
Isn't Khabib Russian? Isn't he from like somewhere in the Soviet? Weird thing?
No, I thought he was Russian. I think he is Russian, actually. I was just confused because I know like his coach is Egyptian and then he's Muslim.
It says his nationality is Russian, but his ethnicity is Avar or Avar. He's from a Russian republic.
Oh, okay. Yeah, but I know he's like Muslim and stuff. So I didn't know necessarily. Okay, so he's Russian.
He's basically a Dothraki.
Right. I mean, but I don't think that's going to I don't think you can have, just like a Russian be the top guy in this, at least in this promotion. I just don't think it's going to.
No, look what happened to boxing when Klitschko, I mean, not that Klitschko's Russian, but like when Klitschko became the dude. Like, you can't have a guy who's the face not be able to do promo work or face work like within the States. Like, it's just not going to fly, especially with not that it's like floundering, I guess, but especially without like the star power of the UFC right now. Like, they have to hitch, in my opinion, if McGregor goes down, that means you have to, like, hitch your wagon to the guy that beat McGregor. And you can't do that with Khabib, which means, all right, cool, let's look to another division or another weight class to try and do that. And I don't think you can do that either, because then what are you doing there? Like, you're hitching your thing to Brock, unreliable. You're hitching your thing to John Jones, unreliable. Like, their best bet to stay viable and go into the future is with McGregor. And if he doesn't win, like you said, their best point the day after is like, all right, well, do we go for Diaz-McGregor again? And then hopefully we can build on the hatred for each other. But people aren't going to be super into that, because it's going to be like, well, Khabib just beat McGregor, so, like, why do I care?
Yeah, I mean, it's just gonna be hard. I mean, I fully believe it maybe wasn't him entirely, but it's definitely been majorly, like, he's been a key cog there that's got them like this deal and is where they are now. But I just think, and even like the Fox deal and all that stuff that's going away. But I think it's just gonna be hard for him if Conor goes away or just decides to retire or anything like that. It's going to dramatically change, I think, this company. And like, it wouldn't be like immediate. It'd just be like how you saw the last year. Like, no one was really talked about a UFC event.
Correct.
That hyped unless you had these one-off kind of things.
Yeah, it's not hitting the mainstream without Conor McGregor.
And they don't have, and they're not going to have Fox anymore. So it's like, so now you're losing your kind of like your cable partner there. And I don't know. I just feel like they're going to take like a downturn. They might take a downturn anyway with like Conor only like, going once a year or whatever it is. But they really need some like new younger guys who like have charisma and can fight. And like, it's like half and half. It's like you can have great fighters, but they need to like talk some shit.
You have to be able to do both.
They need to like put some asses in seats.
Even though it's scripted, it's very much like MMA and WWE have a lot of similarities, and your top guy has to be able to work Good Morning America and all those shows, and has to be able to talk in the ring and do the promo work, and Conor McGregor is that and more as far as the promo side, and is decent in the ring, and without him, yeah, they don't I think we're pretty much in agreement here. Like, I don't see them doing very well or I don't see them reaching the heights that they've reached before without Conor McGregor leading them to those heights. Unless some new star comes out of nowhere and is just the ultimate deal and package in every way that they need him to be.
Yeah, I mean, I guess we'll see. I mean, we'll see this weekend. I mean, for their sake, I guess for my sake, because I'm a big like Conor guy, I want to see him win. And
I was gonna say, all bias aside, who wins? Is Khabib beating McGregor, or is McGregor beating Khabib?
I don't know, man. Khabib's like really freaking good. He's probably like, I know like Aldo's probably the best fighter he's fought, but if Khabib comes in like with confidence and like, because he hasn't been trolled for like 2 years by like Conor, like I probably think he's like the most complete fighter that Conor has faced. And it's going to be hard.
It might be better for these dudes who don't speak English to fight Conor, because he's going to be trolling them and doing all this promo stuff, and the guys are going to be like, what?
No, he speaks English. He knows what the deal is. He knows what the deal is. Just, I don't know. I think he might not get rattled, and then if Conor doesn't get him in the first, Khabib's going to, I'm sure his strategy is going to be like, okay, let me just kind of survive the first, which you should do, and then just start taking him down. To be honest, like,
so you're going with Khabib? Khabib's taking it?
Oh no, I'm never gonna go against Conor.
So you're going with Conor?
Of course, I'm never gonna go against Conor, man. You can't like
Conor versus Godzilla,
dude. It's like even the Floyd fight. I was like, even the Floyd fight. I was like, he's gonna train his fucking ass off in boxing. I bet he's gonna be half decent, and that's what he was. He was like half the. I know like Mayweather's older and stuff like that, and he probably didn't take it too seriously, but like. For that being his first, I guess, boxing match ever against like an undefeated kind of all-time great for whatever. I know he's definitely an all-time defensive fighter. Like,
there you go. Good answer.
He was amazing defensive fighter.
He's also really good offensively against women.
Well, and then I would say just for being a one-off, like, oh, this is my first boxing match, I'm going to face like, like a crazy all-timer. Like, he definitely held his own. Like, people would watch that again. I think more people would watch it the second time because they'd be like, you know what, he actually did pretty good. Like, I know whatever it was a TKO or whatever because he can't he doesn't have stamina for that shit.
No, not at all.
But I mean, he's got hands though. I mean, he hit Floyd a few times, and it's like, you know.
Well, it's gonna be interesting.
It's gonna be a fun weekend.
Khabib's got some ability. Conor is your boy and has the star power, the name power, and actual ability. It's gonna be. I think the fight in and of itself is gonna be just interesting, and the direction that the company takes in. I guess to kind of bring this all home, the direction that the company takes after this fight is going to be very interesting. We might be looking at a different UFC in a couple years, or there's a lot of avenues that they can go in depending on what happens with McGregor here.
For sure, man. I can't wait. Can't wait for Saturday. All right, thanks for listening to our third episode in our 20 for 20 series. If you liked it, if you could leave a review on iTunes, you go to the show notes. The link is in the show notes. Follow us at AA Talk Stuff on Instagram. On Twitter, Anthony's on the Twitter now hard. And that link is in the show notes as well. And thanks for listening, and see you next time.